Hi everyone, my name is Mackie and welcome to Mackie Really Reads. I hope everybody's good, everybody's safe, everybody has been reading great books. If you have or if you are currently reading a great book, don't forget to drop it down in the comments down below and I will be sure to add it to my ever growing TBR. So today's video is going to be me talking about all the books that I read in April. I know it's late, but life, I barely know what month we're in. Then I was like, oh, we're in May. So yeah, I will say I'm kind of getting in a slump, but I'm fighting it. I'm fighting that book demon. The first book that I read in April was The Unwanted Marriage by Katharina Mora. It's the third book in the Winter series. So in this book, we are getting Faye and Dion's story. I was intrigued by this couple, but I won't say it was like, oh, I have to know like what's going on. But did they deliver? Yes. Did the author write an incredible story? Yes. So Faye is a pianist. Her entire life is kind of built or centered around Dion. So she was promised or arranged to marry Dion at an early age, around 5 or 6. Their mothers were best friends, so they kind of have this whole connection. Her dad really controls her, is really neglectful and very abusive towards Faye. It is very, very hard, and it's just like, that part was very, very painful. Very, very painful to read about. And then we have Dion, who's a morally great hero. He feels like he doesn't deserve anything. He doesn't deserve anyone. Just do this. He doesn't deserve anything. He doesn't deserve anyone. He blames himself for his parents' passing, sort of. He feels like it was his fault, even though obviously it wasn't. He was just a kid. However, he has to face those demons. He was also a pianist, so was his mom. So yeah, Faye was literally only a pianist because Dion played the piano. However, she's just really, really good. Like she's like top of the top. She's a really, really great pianist. And yeah, this story is very, very like, all her vibes are kind of like billionaire story. But this one, there's just something that she brings to each couple. They always feel like they're not supposed to be together, and they find a way to be together, and then they kind of have to overcome sort of the insecurities and all the trauma. Then they find like, okay, I actually want to be in this marriage. I'm literally in love with this person. Yes, it was arranged, but I'm so happy with him. Like it doesn't even matter anymore. So I really, really like that about her stories. Then the next book that I read is Psychos by Sheridan Ann. This is a dark romance, like dark romance, and it's more like the Devil's Night series. It's like if Damon, Kai, and Michael all fell in love with one person and they were all brothers. It's literally like that book. It's like Devil's Night series decided they were gonna have another child, and it's so good. So this story follows Shane, Levi, Roman, and Marcus. Yeah, Marcus is the craziest one. I don't know why I'm forgetting him, but he's literally insane. Like insane. So she gets kidnapped because her dad owes the DeAngelis brothers. They are essentially the mob, or like the mafia family in their state, in their country. So she's kind of has to pay for her father's debt, and they pick her. They're gonna kidnap her, and she has to literally do everything that they tell her to do. Spoiler alert, they are very, very attracted to each other. There's a lot of trauma, and you like at chapter 12, I was literally like, there's no way I'm ever gonna like these guys. They are monsters. I don't think I'm gonna like them. And you know what? There's always two sides to a story. Always two sides to a story. And like, I feel bad for them. I really, really feel bad for them. They're not as bad as they seem, which I love. It's like kind of like dark romance, but like mentally as well. I just really, really enjoyed their characters. I'm very excited to read more of the books. It left in a cliffhanger, and I'm just like, no! Will they believe her? Literally, like, this story was so dark. They live in a castle. There's wolves involved. It's dark. It's very, very, very dark. Like very, very dark, but I really, really loved it. I gave it 4 stars. I'm excited to read more about this author and read more about how they are going to make it work as a couple. Like how, like what's gonna happen? Like, who is she gonna end up with? Just one brother, or is it all brothers? Like, what's gonna happen? I'm very, very intrigued. Then I read a book that I have been anticipating for so long. I've been wanting to read it, but I was like, this book could be so good. I could just save it for a rainy day, you know. I read The Surviving Trace by Callie Reed. Was it Callie Reed? It's something like that. There's a time travel romance. I love these books so much. It's kind of like, it's an adventure. It's literally an adventure. It's different to a fantasy, but truly, I just love this world. It's different. In the beginning of the story, the heroine, she's engaged to her college, I think her college love or whatever. His name is William, or Will, that boring, whatever boring name his name is. And she finds a picture. So she owns an antique store. She finds a photo of the guy that she was in love with in the past, but she doesn't know that. She just sees this photograph and she's like, I am intrigued by these people. There's a pull. I feel a pull towards these people. I don't know them, but yeah, like she feels such an immediate pull towards them that she starts giving them names, and she's kind of like, oh, this guy looks like he was charming, and this guy looks cold, and this one looks that, and she starts giving them names, and she goes to tell her fiance that she likes this picture, that she's very intrigued by this picture. She doesn't know why. They get into this big fight, and she time travels into 1912, and during the South is such a beautiful like vibe. It's just country, it's southern, it's just such an amazing thing. I loved Etienne, that's his name. I just loved who he was, and he was just like, you are not my wife, but you look like my wife, you speak like my wife, but something's different about you. He doesn't believe her at first, like she's time traveled. They fall in love. As soon as they fall in love, she like time travels back into her world, and like things are never the same in the world that she is in. Like her brother maybe is not her brother anymore, or her parents don't have the same name anymore, they don't live in the same place, or they don't live like, maybe they were middle class, now they're very super wealthy, you know. It's never the same, and I really enjoyed that. But it could be a little bit complicated sometimes, because there's a lot of things you have to kind of remember. However, I did love their story. They push and pull. It was just angst. It's like, do I do what I'm supposed to do in this life, or do I just leave it and be like, I just want to be with Etienne and just live my life? And it's such a beautiful story. I truly enjoyed it. I read the first book, The Surviving Trace, and I read The Reigning and the Rule. Finished that book. I'm excited for the third one, but I don't want to read it because I don't want this world to end. Oh, this is just like the life of a reader, where you like have the last book left in the series, and you're just like, do I want to read it? Like, I love this book, I really want to read it, but like after I read it, like the world is over, it's done. Like, it's torture. Literally, it's torture. But I think I'll finish it. I don't wanna, but I have to, and I will. So the next book that I read, I got into this big like mafia. I still am. I want to read like everything mafia. So I started to read Michelle Hurd. This is actually my first time ever reading Michelle Hurd, believe it or not. And I decided to start with this series, The Corrupt Royals. I don't know why. I don't want to read the first series or the popular series. You know me, I just want to do my own thing. I march to the beat of my own drum or guitar, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, first book that I read is Destroy Me. This one is about Misha and Aurora. It's a college romance. They meet while Misha and her best friend, they kind of ran away or like escaped home for a little bit just to go to the club. They see each other from across the room, and they start kind of hanging out. While they are hanging out, they're about to have like their first kiss or something, and then like the bar that they are in kind of gets bombed, like it explodes, and they are trapped under this rubble and stuff. She's very injured, and he's like, no, you're not gonna die today. You're not gonna die today. It was just so sweet. However, we do have a time jump. I think like a 2-3 year time jump, because they're from opposing families. She doesn't know this, by the way. She just thinks he's just the cutest, most handsomest guy ever in the world. And yeah, she doesn't know that he's part of the mafia, or the Russian mafia, which is against her Italian mafia family. So yeah, but they meet in this college where they train sort of like the young mafia people that are about to take over. They train them in like kidnapping, fighting, just sort of the things that you get in the mafia world. And it's very beautiful. It's short, I love it. It's like very, very like very mafia. I loved it so much. I love the vibe. Then the second book is Control Me. Now this is an age gap. It's also like I wouldn't say he's a teacher, but he's like training them to fight, kind of like they sub for the couple of months, but he's not like a permanent teacher there. And yeah, we have her best friend. We have Aurora's best friend who's Abby. This is a grumpy sunshine romance. I love this one. They wit and just like their back and forth, it's so funny. He's just like such a grump. He doesn't like anyone. He doesn't even want to be there. And she's like, "Ooh, I like you, and I'm gonna try and make you smile." And like it's a lot of attraction. I really enjoyed it. Something does happen to the heroine in like the 50% mark of the book. However, it's something that she does get over as like the best way she could, I guess. So yeah, it was also very heartfelt. I loved this book more than the first one, which I knew it would because it has my kind of tropes that I like: grumpy sunshine, age gap, sort of the student teacher type of vibes. You know, I love that. I continued on to the mafia world that I was in. Then I read Dante by Sadie Kincaid. This is the first book that I read by this author as well. I did like this book, but it was more of like a 3-star. Like I felt like their attraction towards each other was more than their love, like their romance, their actual emotional, like their actual emotions. I just felt like the author didn't write a great, she didn't convince me. Like the author didn't convince me that they liked each other beyond the bedroom. Like I just didn't feel that. However, I know a lot of people like it, and I did recommend it because I still feel like it has all the great ingredients to make for a good meal. However, I didn't really like this meal. It didn't have my favorite stuff. Yeah, it is a kidnapping situation. Yeah, there was something very lacking in the emotional department with this book. She had a lot of trauma, and yeah, he did help her, but like besides that, what maybe it's because I was emotionally detached, but I just didn't feel the emotions. I didn't feel their love. I didn't feel their romance. So yeah, however, I did feel it more in the second book with Joey. So I don't know if it's like this author's writing or something, but Joey is meant to be this kind of cold, calculated, kind of really critical, very mean human being. In the second book, you don't get any of that. Like it's like a complete opposite. She's just a spoiled brat. Like she's just like this sweet spoiled brat, and I'm like, oh, well, like in Dante, she's cold and mean, and she's just like nobody trusts her. She's just like she has this evil eye. And in the second book, it's something different. So I don't know if it's her first book or what, but I felt like nothing. It wasn't working. Like there was, the strings weren't stringing. You know what I mean? There wasn't a connection. The lines weren't lining. You couldn't find the ruler. You couldn't find the pencil. Like something was off. Or she was just writing it to just make us not like Joey and root for Kat more. I don't know, but I did like Joey. It is a brother's best friend. He is sort of quote unquote her bodyguard. Joey and Maximo, they just made a lot more sense. I don't know if like it's just this new age of writing where there's a lot more sex scenes or anything. Like there's a lot more sex scenes than them just living their life. Or maybe she was just catering to a type of audience, which is not me. She wasn't catering to me, honey. However, I did like this book. I did like Joey more than Dante. Lorenzo is meant to be different. I'm gonna read it just to see, she's 1-1. She's 1-1. I just want to read her, continue reading this series just so I can get it over and done with, because it has so many good like ingredients. It has so many good bones. However, it's just, I don't know what it is. Actually, I do know what it is. I feel like the sex scenes overshadow the story, just their physical attraction, or she makes it seem like the attraction is more than anything else. But in the second book, it was way less. But I felt more of the emotional bond than I did in the first book. So yeah, I will say that. And then I read this book, Once Upon a Broken Heart. I started it, but I only finished it in, what month are we in? Yeah, in this month. Yeah, it was different. It was YA. I didn't know when I was reading this book, or when I picked it up, that it would be YA. I like this cover. I really like this cover. I'm not intrigued. I am not, it's just not for me. You know what I mean? I'm just not the target audience for this. And I understand. I feel like had I read this book when I was 16 years old, I would have liked it. So this book starts off with what's her name? What was it? Angelina. It's close, something like that. Evangeline, yeah. Evangeline Fox. She goes to a fate. She has a broken heart. She's in love with someone, and her sister is gonna marry the guy that she loves. So she is like, no way, he would never do that. He's in love with me. My sister has cursed him, or he must be under some kind of spell. So she makes a deal with the fate, and he's like, okay, I'll stop the wedding, but you have to give me 3 kisses. So his kisses are deadly, right? He is the Prince of Hearts. I think that's his name. Yes, Prince of Hearts. Yes. And he's like, you have to give me these 3 kisses. And I just didn't know where the story was gonna go. I didn't know that she was gonna be marrying someone else. I just didn't think it was gonna be this vibe. However, if I was 15 and I just read this book after The Selection by Kara Cass, I would have loved it. Would have been one of my favorite series ever. However, now in this stage of my life, it's just going to be a no for me. That is all the books that I read in April. Thank you all so much for deciding to watch this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.